Hey guys. All right. All right. I'm about to get started. Just waiting for everybody to come in. Hi. Coach Lajuana here. We are talking about vulnerable narcissists. We're about to go in. Hey, welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, just waiting for everybody to get on. Hey, we're talking about vulnerable narcissists. We're going to be going in today for this live. Hi, honey. Good evening. Good evening, D. Dunk, right? We're going to be talking about vulnerable narcissists. Hi, Marion. How you doing, honey? Good to see you. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Coach Lajuana here. I'm a life coach and a deliverance minister, and I focus on helping people to heal and recover from narcissistic abuse. We, men and women, I help the men and I help the women because, we all need help, I don't try to discriminate. It's going to be good because a lot of people don't talk about vulnerable narcs, and they put vulnerable narcs and covert narcissists in the same box, and they're not the same. So we're really going to talk about that in a minute. Welcome in, everybody. I really pray that this information it helps you out. I'm going to put this on the screen. That's what we're talking about today. Vulnerable narcs and how they are professional victims. Vulnerable narcs, I've encountered them a lot in my life. Some of the other narcissists more than them, but I definitely at pivotal times in my life, I encountered vulnerable narcs. And although they are covert, they are different in some ways from the regular covert narcs. So we're just going to go into that in a minute. Just let a couple more people come in, and then we're going to start because we got to get this show on the road. But I'm really excited to have you guys on tonight. It's not a topic that a lot of people talk about, but you need to know about all narcissists. A lot of people will just stay on just the regular covert or overt, but there's so many different kinds of narcissists, and how those spirits manifest is different from each person. They manifest in different ways depending on the person, and depending on how much that person gives those demonic spirits access to their vessel, meaning their bodies. That's how those spirits manifest. It just really depends on the person. Yes. They are demons, period. That's why I said we got to know about all the narcs, not just one kind of narc. We got to know about all of the narcs, because if not, then we're going to be at a disservice for ourselves. And when we run into these kinds of narcissists, then we won't know, because we're going to be like, well, is this person a narc? Because I got to be honest, out of all narcissists, this is the hardest one to spot. These vulnerable narcissists are very, very difficult to spot. If you guys are just coming in, we're just getting started. I go live Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. This is my regular time that I'm going to be going live now. For you guys who've been following me for a while, since actually it's going to be, I think, a year since I've been on YouTube. I got on last February, was doing, a lot of posting and lives and stuff, and then shut down because God was like, you got to rest and all this other stuff. And then he brought me back on. but I specialize in helping people to heal, recover, and rebuild their lives from narcissistic abuse. I'm trying to sign up through your email. Tamara, email me again at Lajuanaradcliffe. Let me see. Let me put it in the chat. Hold on. Radcliffe at gmail.com. I just put that in the chat. So just email me and we'll get you signed up. What's up, Bria? What's up, Bria? That's my homie. Yes, honey, I'm here for you. I am. Yeah, see you found me last year too. And I'm telling you, I was going hard. The Lord was like, put it out there. And then I was doing so much coaching, so much ministry, helping people so much deliverance. I was doing a lot of deliverance last year that I got really burnt out. Oh, it was bad. I couldn't even sleep at night. My body was shutting down. It was bad. So God said, rest. Brooklyn in the house. BK in the house. If y'all been following me, y'all know I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And so I'm a Brooklyn girl. That's what I do. Hey, Eric. Yep. I still have books on my website, Lajuanaradcliffe.com, www.lajuanaradcliffe.com. If you click on the books tab, I have a bunch of ebooks there. And you guys could download those. I absolutely do. And I'm always, a lot of times I turn these lives that you guys see into books. So if it's anything that you guys want to purchase or anything like that, let me know. Because I do turn, not each and every live, but many of them, I turn them into ebooks because a lot of people like the graphics and the information and all that. So I'm like, I'm trying to help the people. Okay, I lived in Queens for a really long time. I lived in Briarwood, Queens, and Jamaica, Queens, too. Well, thank you, Rick. I'm trying. Hey, New York in how at? I'm from that old Brooklyn, from like Total and Biggie. I'm like a 90s Brooklyn. So you're currently in a situation. Yeah. I'm going to be on, guys. I'm going to be on here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Southside Jamaica, Queens. Yep. Used to hang out there too. But I know a lot of people need help. So we just want to get started. And we're going to start talking about vulnerable narcs, how they are professional victims. Like I said, I had interaction with people like this, and maybe you guys have as well. I don't know. But he said BK is no, BK is not the same. That's why when I tell people that I'm from Brooklyn, I be like, I'm from old Brooklyn. Hey, good to see you too, Ebony. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm from old Brooklyn. So I tell them I'm from the Brooklyn of Biggie, from, Total, Jay-Z, like that old Brooklyn, Foxy Brown, Lil Kim, Fox Books, like that's me. I'm from 90s Brooklyn, where people really stuck together. People loved each other. People had each other's back. Like, people wasn't fake. If they didn't like you, they just didn't mess with you. I don't know what the heck happened now. But I'm from old Brooklyn, so I got the old Brooklyn mindset. Like, I look out for people. We're very loyal people. And Brooklyn, we go hard. Like that song says, Brooklyn, we go hard. We go hard. We do. We go really hard for people we love. Absolutely. You lived at Bed-Stuy? I went to Boys and Girls High School. And I graduated from John Jay High School in Brooklyn. So I was conceived, I was born, I was raised in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna get me talk about Brooklyn today. We're gonna talk about these narcs. And they be narking, as that guy say. All right, guys. So let's talk about vulnerable narcissists. I want to first define what they are, because like I said, they're very similar to covert, although they are covert, meaning they fly under the radar, but they're not like covert because they have different ways of manifesting. So if you guys see in the diagrams, you could see two people like comforting people, right? So it says, you're such a good friend. Nobody understands me the way you do or like you do. So that's the vulnerable narcs. That's the mindset that they have, which is like whenever they meet somebody, it's like, oh, you came in, everybody else did me dirty, but you won't. And the other one says, so many people have turned on me. I'm glad that I have you in my life, right? So let's read what vulnerable narcissists are, right? A vulnerable narcissist is also similarly referred to as a covert narcissist. Still, the vulnerable narcissist is different from the covert narcissist, as vulnerable narcissists possess a mindset that comprises both narcissistic qualities and a deep underlying sense of inadequacy and vulnerability. Both these individuals are particularly pitiful. They are pitiful as they seek validation and attention from others by presenting themselves as wounded individuals who have faced victimization and betrayal throughout their lives. Their objective is to lure individuals, supply, meaning us, who will believe their lies and dedicate an excessive amount of time to listening to their endless stories of victimization. Moreover, they seek out individuals who naturally have a propensity to offer care and support. Ultimately, vulnerable narcissists seek pseudo parents. They want you to parentify them. They want you to parent them. Many of them have the orphan spirit as well, as spirits of delusion and many other spirits. So while both vulnerable and covert narcissists share traits like self-absorption, insecurity, the difference lies in their outward behavior. Vulnerable narcissists tend to display a more apparent need for reassurance and sympathy, while covert narcissists mask their self-centeredness with a facade of humility and victimhood. So can you guys understand the difference? Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, D, they do. So the difference, so the vulnerable narcs are the most pitiful of all narcs. So they're like, they want you to look at them as pitiful. They want that. Now, whereas you have the grandiose or your other kind of narcs, if you like, I pity you, like you're pitiful, they'll be like, what? And they'll, go crazy and rage out on you, try to maybe hit you or whatever. But vulnerable narcs, when you like, this is so pitiful. I can't believe you went through that. This is so sad. And they're like, I know, right? And so you're like, yeah. But what most people don't realize is that when vulnerable narcs, when you speak to them and you hear these stories and stuff like that, they begin to drain you from the very beginning. A lot of people say I resemble Mary J. Blige. I don't think I look like her. I get Kim Fields a lot too, and Mary J. Blige sometimes too, and the New York accent. But that's the difference. That the vulnerable narcs, they are very pitiful. They want you to take care of them. They want you to look like them. They want you to actually spend all this time with them. But the regular covert narcs has this facade of like, I'm holy, I got everything together, but I went through some stuff too. But the vulnerable narcs are the most victimized mindset. They have the most victimized mindset of all narcissists, which is why they're really, really dangerous. Okay, so let's go into what's the difference between a vulnerable narcissist and other narcissists. So just real quick, if you guys look at the chart, vulnerable narcs, their life is based on victimhood. That's what their whole life is based on. Yep. They all narcs have the lion spirit because they have unclean spirits that influence them. So absolutely. So vulnerable narcs, life is based on victimhood. They need constant attention, reassurance, and sympathy. The most pitiful of all narcs, they seek out caregivers as supply. Those narcs, they love people to take care of them. And sometimes too, they'll fake illnesses just so you can take care of them. They're like that. They will use their home, food, and a kind ear to lure people in. We're going to talk about that too. So the regular covert narcs, their life is based on like a facade of humility and victimhood. So it's more like, I'm such a good person. People did that to me, but okay. But their whole identity is not centered around victimhood, and the vulnerable narcs are. Regular covert narcs have lived in a mindset of false humility. They do have a victim mentality too, but it's very different than the vulnerable narcs. They are passive aggressive too. They manipulate and they envy. The overt narcs, they have an exaggerated self-importance. We know the overt narcs, they're very out there with it. They're in your face. They're loud at the party. You look at them. They have the biggest mouths. They want everybody to look at them. They think they're really, really intelligent. They think that they know everything. They have a lack of empathy, arrogance, attention seeking, very attention seeking, and they believe that they're superior to others. So even when you challenge overt narc and say, well, that's not true, they don't care a lot of times if they're in front of a group of people and they'll argue with you. But vulnerable narcs, for the most part, they won't do that. They're like, if you check them in front of people, they'll cower down and like leave in embarrassment. The regular covert narcs, they may say something to you, but they may say it in a way that try to make you look small, but make them look like they're holy. They'll try to put you down. The overt is just going to come out and tell you about yourself. And then the malignant narcissists, they're sadistic. They have lack of empathy. They take pleasure in the suffering of others. They have exploitive behavior. They have high levels of aggressiveness, paranoia, and an extreme need for power. And the religious narcs, they have this mindset of spiritual superiority. A lot of pastors and people in ministry, they have that mindset. So even if you tell them that God revealed something to you, they'll tell you, well, no, the Lord didn't say that. This is what you need to do. Oh, I've been walking with the Lord for 40 years. You just started walking with the Lord a couple of years. You don't really know. So they'll make you feel less than, and as if they have a direct line to God and you don't. So they have a very judgmental attitude. They use religion for manipulation, which is where a lot of people get church hurt and stuff like that. Absolutely. They have a holier than thou attitude, and they have selective compassion. And I think that's one of the most painful things when it comes to narcissists, especially religious narcissists. I had a situation in 2022. Bless you too, honey. Thank you, Camille. Thank you. Yeah. I had a situation to where in 2022, I had went through my divorce February 2022 of the ex-narcissist, and I was a part of this ministry group. We would, come on live and stuff like that. And I had spoke to the pastor, and I told him, I said, I'm going through a divorce, and I really need prayer. And don't you know, that man looked at me and he was just like, oh, can somebody go pray for Lajuana? I was just like, what? And he was like, yeah, somebody. He did not want to pray for. This happened 3 times, y'all, not just once. 3 times on 3 separate occasions. One time I even saw him in person, and he would not pray for me. He wouldn't. He was a religious narc. And that was before I even knew what narcs were. But I was just like, why is he selectively like praying for people? I thought it was so weird. I couldn't identify it at that time. But now I know, oh my goodness, that guy was a narc. And now, funny enough, he's not even like in ministry anymore. Thank God, because he's not, hurting anybody. So traits of a vulnerable narc. Hello, shalom, honey. Yeah, they're reprobates. Absolutely. If somebody's a full-blown narc, they definitely reprobate. And I don't care what anybody else say, because they live a life of unrepentance. It doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter what you do. You could show them. These are people in the church. It doesn't matter. You could try to explain it, how their actions are horrible. They will not. They won't repent and they won't stop. Oh my goodness. Oh, Camille, I'm so sorry that happened to your sister. My God. God bless her. That's awful. Yeah. And I bet you that man doesn't see anything wrong with his behavior. He'll find some kind of way to justify his foolishness. So these are the traits of a vulnerable narc. Fragile self-esteem. They have a fragile self-esteem and harbor deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, and are easily wounded by the slightest criticism or perceived rejection. Self-pity. They engage in self-pity and they portray themselves as perpetually victimized. It doesn't matter what situation they are in. You know, this person could have been unemployed for a while and you set them up on an interview with your friend. You like, you know, you're going to go, Mike, you're going to go get that job. My friend is going to hook you up, and you'll send them on an interview, and your friend is like, you know, interviewing like you basically you're shooing like, only thing you gotta do is tell me, you know, your past and give me something. And the vulnerable narc is sitting there pathetic, not really saying anything. So your friend call you back and like, listen, I know you sent the guy Mike, but he couldn't give me nothing. I mean, he looked down the whole time. I mean, he was all over the place. He was rambling. I mean, he didn't give me anything. So I can't trust somebody like that. And so what happened? So now the vulnerable narc, I did everything I could. They singled me out. They didn't want me. They didn't like me from the moment I walked in there. And you sitting there like, what are you talking about? My friend is not like that. They will not be accountable. Hello, honey. Hello. Hi. Thank you for joining. So next one, inward focus. Vulnerable narcissists tend to be more introverted and inwardly focused. They may be preoccupied with their feelings, thoughts, and self-image, often internalizing their need for attention and admiration. Number 4, a constant need for validation. If you are friends with these people, or you have them in your family, or you work with them, they always need to be validated. And I mean, that's exhausting. That's exhausting to constantly tell somebody like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be good. It's going to be all right. I mean, every single day, like you just, oh my God, I can't wait to tell y'all the stories. Some of these stories I went through. Number 5, manipulation through victimhood. This is their number one, tool that they use to lure new supply in, because when you speak to them, you would never think that this person is a narcissist, because they truly seem like genuine, caring people. Like they really do. And their love bomb is very different. It's not like a regular narc you would love bomb you, like with all these kind words and stuff. Like they say that, but their stuff is more so like they'll put you on a pedestal like you're an answered prayer. Like, oh, you're the best friend ever. So many people have done me wrong, but I know you'll never do me like that. They'll lift you up. And so you really feel good, like, dang, maybe this person is really misunderstood. But they crazy as hell. Yeah. They love to gossip about people, and they love to get information. All narcissists have monitoring spirits in them as well. They could wear their mask for a long time. And these are really vulnerable narcissists are really hard to spot. And a lot of people on social media don't talk about them. They group them in the regular covert narcs in the same category, and they're not the same. Number 6, avoidance of responsibility. They shift the blame onto others to avoid accountability. And when you catch them in a lie and stuff, it's almost like you're looking at a little kid like fall apart in front. No, that's not. They lied on me, and you're looking at them like, how old are you? It's really weird to see how spirits manifest in people who are truly disordered like that. It's really, really scary. Number 7, really passive aggressive behavior. I was friends with a couple of vulnerable narcs. The first one, I'll save that story for later. That's because that's actually in one of the slides. But a guy that I was really cool with for like 6 years, I stayed with him for a short time, and I got a chance to see how disordered he really, really was. And he was doing all this evil stuff behind my back. Like he contacted my ex-narc and was telling him that we were together. And I was just like, dude, not a day in my life did I ever do anything with you. Like zero, nothing. In fact, I even had my son listening on the end, like on the other line, because I was like, this guy is really crazy. I need you to like really listen to this, because I don't want him to lie on me like that. My son's like, all right, I'm gonna be quiet, I'm gonna listen to him. And he listened to the whole conversation, and this guy was saying that I'm his wife and everything. I mean, these vulnerable narcs will make these incredible grand stories about people, and that didn't happen. Horrible. I had to cut that friendship off, and I ran for the hills. I was like, I'm good. They have a lack of empathy. But the difference is with vulnerable narcs, although they have a lack of empathy, they portray as if they do. They can even cry on cue too. They're really good at I mean, Academy Award winning. I mean, they'll cry, they'll hold you at night, and you're like, you're my best friend. They're sitting there smiling and stuff like, yeah. But they're actually happy that you're going through the hardship that you're going through because vulnerable narcs need to be needed. See, as they seek people to take care of them, they want to actually take care of you as well because then they'll feel like you need them. We're going to get into that. So, pursuit of admiration, they are always fishing for compliments. They could, buy a new outfit, do their hair, makeup different. They're always seeking for somebody to look at them and be like, okay, do I look good? I mean, because their self-esteem is like this big. And so what everybody says on what they think, what you think about them says a lot about them. I remember this friend, the guy I was just talking about, he had a nice outfit on. I said, okay, you looking nice today. You looking okay. And you know what he said to me? He looked at me. He was like, I look good every day. I was like, well, damn. I said, and I looked at him. I said, I don't know about every day. I didn't say you look good every day. I said today. He didn't like that. Oh, that's my Brooklyn mouth. Anyway, they lack accountability. And a lot of them have social anxiety too. They have social anxiety. I'm telling y'all, I mean, you got to put these narcs in their place. You really do. They'll really try you. I was trying to give the guy a compliment and I said, oh, you look nice today. This is really, I wasn't trying to exclude any other day. I was just saying that he looked nice in that particular outfit. And he said, I look good every day. I said, no, I didn't say any other day. I said, just today. He didn't like that. All right. So the mindset of vulnerable narcs. Remember, they are professional victims. I even had a person that I worked with that had this mindset, and I was working with that person, helping them heal from narc abuse, all that stuff. And the moment I said they had to get delivered and they had to heal and they had to combat certain things and take accountability for their healing, that person turned on me and went crazy. I mean, the most disgusting message I ever received in my life. That person reached out to me. It was just like, how did we get here? I'm trying to help you and I'm holding you accountable because you said you want to heal. You said you want a great life. I mean, that's what you hired me for. But then when I put your feet to the fire and say, hey, you have to do these things. This is the thing. These are the things that's hindering your growth and your healing as a coach, as a deliverance minister. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to push you in a good way that will help to elevate you and heal you in the future. But that person did not want to hear that. They went crazy on me. I'm like, vulnerable narc. And I was like, how is it that I didn't see it, God? How is it that I didn't see? I'm working with this person for all this time. How is it I didn't see it? Because this is the most, this kind of narc is so insidious. It's like you got to sit there and be like studying them. It's hard. Somebody, they do hate the God in us, Camille. Absolutely. They do. Yes, honey. We're going to pray for you. And we always pray after these lives anyway. So vulnerable narcs are people who are always seeking people to parent them throughout their wounds. They feel as if they were dealt a bad hand. A lot of them will say that, like, I had a hard life. You don't know, I was dealt a bad hand in life. You had it easier than me. That's another thing they'll say to you. They'll be like, well, you didn't go through what I went through. Oh my goodness. They really, them vulnerable narcs act like the suffering that they went through. They act like they went through like Job, like they're Job or something. Like they're Jesus Christ, the Savior or something. Like, listen, people had hard lives, and I don't think nobody should compare one person's life, with another person's life. People have hard times, but these vulnerable narcs act as if they're the only ones who has ever suffered in the history of humanity. And guess what? They have it. Yeah, you have to change your number sometimes. Yep. You really do. And see, for me, I just blocked all those people, but I want to change my number, y'all, but I feel bad. Y'all know why? I had my phone number. I had my phone number for like 25 years. Don't laugh at me. I had my number for about 25 years. So I don't want to change it because it's connected to all my social media. But maybe if the Lord lead me to, I would change my number. But it's connected to all my stuff. I don't know. What y'all think? Y'all think I should change it? Bria said change it. I don't know. I'm telling you, Shirley, I gotta think about that. So vulnerable narcs, this is their mindset. They're very self-centered and they constantly compare themselves to others and they pick themselves apart. They are super secretive. They can be loners. They are socially awkward too. That's another thing that's different from them and regular coverts. Regular coverts could be the life of the party and smoozing. You're really not going to find a vulnerable narc like that. They feel inferior on every level. They carry a lot of guilt and shame, as with all narcs. They have low self-esteem and they have a lot of suppressed rage. They're toxic codependents. Self-rejection is something that they reject themselves. Well, even if you give them compliments, sometimes they'll act like they're receiving it, but they really can't receive that. They live in a fantasy world. The former friend that I was telling you guys about, who went to my ex-narc and all this other stuff, he really made up this fantasy life that I was his wife and we were together. He really did that. And I was just looking at him like, I never even gave you a hug longer than a daggone minute. Why are you sitting here thinking, no? Hey, Beetle, that's my son, y'all. Hey, Beetle, thanks for being on. Thanks for supporting your mama. I appreciate you, baby. Mama loves you. So they obsess over getting new supply. They're always thinking about how to get new supply, and they perfect their sob stories over time. These people are masters at creating sob stories. They avoid accountability on all levels. They see themselves as victims, and they fantasize on how to control the supply. So not only that, they look at Bria. Bria is like, "Hey, Rel." Eric said, "Hey, son." Oh, thank you guys for supporting my baby. He's supporting his mama. So, why is it difficult to identify vulnerable narcs? Now, y'all see that I got the whole like kind of Snow White Disney princess here with, the old woman's like, "Here, dearie, eat this apple. It's going to be good for you. It's very tasty and delicious." And the princess is like, "Oh, it does look good, but I'm not sure." Hey, my son said, "Hey, what's goody, y'all?" Somebody said, "Just call them super freak." I can't, William. What? Why super freak? He said, "Bria, what's up?" So look at this though. Why is it difficult to identify out of all narcissists? Why is it difficult? So let me tell you guys why. So identifying vulnerable narcissists is difficult as they often appear fragile, like a wounded bird. They manipulate others by playing the victim and using their past trauma to avoid accountability. They enjoy talking about how they've been wronged and repel any kind of responsibility. These narcissists also drain people. They drain people's energy and carry demonic spirits. So when you look at them, and let me just tell you guys too, physically, they look very fragile too, vulnerable narcs. Most of these people are not big, heavy, tall people. Like a lot of them, I don't know what it is about them, but they either have an average build or they're kind of small. And you just look at them and visually they really do look harmless. Just like this old woman in the picture. She looks harmless, but she's holding a poisonous apple. And that's what they do when they meet us. Like, we look at them like they've gone through so many, difficult challenges in their life. These people are really hurting. They're in a lot of pain. And we sitting there, we're giving them all this time on the phone for hours, going to their house, staying at it. I'm going to tell y'all about a story in a minute. Because I was with a vulnerable narc, and it landed me in an emergency room to the point where I thought I was having a stroke. I'm going to tell y'all about that in a minute. He said, support your moms. He always support me. Yep. Satan is a master as presenting himself as an angel of light, as we know that. But the truth is, whole demon. So we have to be very, very aware of the people that we are aligning ourselves with, because just because somebody has a hard luck story and they may look like they're in poverty or they have hard times in life does not mean that that's a godly person. And it doesn't mean that you should help that person. We always have to go to God and ask him to reveal that person's heart. So, before we get linked and aligned with these people, that these people are godly people. Because a lot of times these narcissists, and not just vulnerable narcs, but any kind of narcissist, is facing judgment. And a lot of times God will be putting the, smack down on them. They'll be facing heavy judgment. And then we come along and try to pull them out of that season. And then stuff start falling apart in our life. So we have to be really, really mindful of the people that we're connected to, because these people may be suffering like that because of the wickedness that they've done to others. So we have to really seek God and say, okay, I know, Lord, that there are no neutral people in this world. Either that person is a godly person, they're sent from you, or they're sent from the enemy. It's no neutral people walking around. Everybody receives from a spiritual source. And narcissists receive from Satan, whether they know it or not, because they intentionally manipulate and they hurt people. Oh my goodness, Tamara, you can't think around these people, because that's what I'm saying. They start draining you from the moment they meet you. So you sitting there hearing all these stories all the time, and you starting to fall apart. I do believe it's narc applies to my first husband. Yeah. Well, don't call yourself stupid, honey. Oh, all narcs do that. Well, William, they are demonically driven. Absolutely. God bless you for getting out, Shirley. Yep. They suck the life out of you. I'm going to tell y'all about that in a minute. Amen. So, how do vulnerable narcs obtain supply? So vulnerable narcs use their past wounds as a way to attract people instead of forming genuine connections. They create bonds based on shared trauma bonds, making you view them as constant victims who rely on someone's love and support to make them feel whole. Manipulation is their preferred method. At first, they may seem like individuals who experience a lot of hardships and mistreatment. As covert narcissists, they manipulate others by playing the victim, pretending to be helpless or misunderstood to gain sympathy, control, and attention. They present themselves as emotionally needy. That's another thing. Vulnerable narcs are very clingy and they're very needy. Once they identify you as their supply source, best to believe they're going to keep tabs on you. That's one of the things too that's kind of different from some of the other narcs. Like, these people are clingy, not just talk to you on the phone, but they want to be physically be around you all the time too. Oh, it's draining being around them people. They present themselves as emotionally needy, causing others to feel responsible for their well-being because they guilt trip you. When you're friends with them, or if you're in a relationship with them and you start to kind of see their manipulative ways and you start pulling back, they will make you feel guilty for pulling back. Oh, you going to leave me like them other people left me? Or you going to leave me like my mama left me? Or you going to leave me like my daddy left me? You going to leave me the way my family did me? And you sitting there like, what? That has nothing to do with this. I just don't like the way you're treating me. No, you. And then they'll cry, have a tantrum and all this stuff. And what you going to do? You like, oh man. These people crazy. So their stories will elicit sympathy, but over time, their constant need for attention and self-pity in ways will wear you out. It is going to wear you out because you're going to be like, if I hear this story about grandma that died 5 years ago, or your mother that, stole your money from your bank account, or your daddy that skipped town when you was 2, I think I'm just going to lose it. Because, they'll cycle these stories over and over, and they never get tired of telling it. A regular person would be like, you know what, I can't keep talking like this. I'm just focused on the past. I got to change. I'm getting depressed, all that. They won't feel like that. They'll tell you from sun up to sundown what happened to them. And you sitting there looking like, where the story going? So who do vulnerable narcissists target? So we already know they use manipulation and stuff like that, but they target people pleasers. Absolutely. Enablers. People who see them as eternal victims and ignore their bad behavior. They love people like that because a lot of times if you see them as victims, you'll enable them, and you'll also fight their battles too. So if somebody trying to come against them, you're like, don't treat her like that. Don't treat him like that. They went through a lot and they're like, you just like everybody else. And they the narcissist sitting behind your back laughing because they're like, oh, I got a good one. I don't even have to say nothing. They're going to fight my battle. Vulnerable narcs love people who have time to serve them. They love it. A lot of times some of them have health issues. Because they're so needy, they come into agreement with these spirits of infirmity. A lot of, like the one, I'm going to tell y'all that story in a minute, but she had really bad food allergies. And when we first met, y'all, we first really hung out, we went to eat and she was just like, oh, and she pulled out this big thing. And I was like, what's that? And she was like, oh, I have to teach you how this goes. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. This is my EpiPen. I have really bad food allergies. I'm always in the hospital and I get sick. So this is how you're going to use it on me. I was just like, okay. So vulnerable narcs love when people have time to serve them. They also love when you have mercy hearts, the heart of Christ. And they love when you have a servant's heart. Like when you have God put it on when he created you in your mother's womb, he created a burden on your heart to serve people. Sometimes we feel compelled to help people. We don't know why. We may not even know them. We just want to help them. Vulnerable narcs love people like that because they will use you, and deplete you until there's nothing left. Vulnerable narcs also love people who have a savior complex. So if you have a savior complex and you feel as if, okay, I got to help this person. I got to save them. I got to get them out of this situation. I got to rescue them from their hard luck story. I'm going to be the one that's going to love them now like nobody ever have. They love that because in their minds, they're like, okay, I'm just going to keep reeling this sob story on, and this person is going to keep eating it up, and they're never going to leave me. Because if they do try to leave me, I'm going to guilt trip them, which is what they do. They love toxic codependence. They love people who are wound buddies. So they see it as, okay, well, you went through a lot of life. I went through a lot of life. So we just going to keep talking about our wounds. You throw your wound at me, I'm going to catch it. I throw my wound at you, you catch it. So nobody's healing. Nobody's growing. There's no transformation, no renewing of the mind. You're just wound buddy talking about what happened to you for your whole life. Right. A daggone mess, Eric, a mess. I'll be so glad when I don't have to think about the person's demon again. It's been almost 4 years. 1 minute I feel relatively good, and next I'm ruminating and so sick of it. Yeah, honey. Stay on because I have a free group for women. I think you're a woman. And it's really good. It's actually next Monday. I'm going to be doing it for specifically for women who need to heal from narcissistic abuse because is needed. Yep. That's exactly how they bond because they don't know how to form healthy bonds. They cycle through people in and out of relationships. They don't know how to bond. They look at you. Okay, I'm going to come up with this story like I always do. And I'm going to reel that person in. And then I'm going to drain their time, energy, and resources and then go to the next person. They're just like all other narcs. It just some of the things they do, it manifests in a different way. Yeah, absolutely. If you know somebody's a narc, you definitely need to go no contact, because number one, they're never going to give you closure. They're not going to respect you, and they're going to consistently lie and manipulate you, because that's how they feed those demonic spirits that are in them. All demons, the nature of that demon has to be fed. Each demon comes with a specific personality, a goal, and it comes with also with a mindset. So I tell people too, as a deliverance minister, that when you get delivered, that's kind of the easy part, right? The deliverance. But the hardest part of deliverance is making sure that you get rid of the mindset that came along with that demon. Because each demonic spirit has a personality. It manifests in different ways. So you get delivered from whatever that spirit is, you have to work on the mindset that came along with that spirit. It's not just once this demon is cast out, okay, it's gone, but the mindset that demon attached to you when it was operating in you is still there, and you're going to have to work on catching yourself. Do they ever sleep? Some of them do, some of them don't. But the Bible says there's no rest for the wicked. So a lot of them have sleeping disorders. Most narcs have some kind of sleeping disorder because they get tormented in their sleep. Yeah, she said they change people like they change their underwear. It's true. They cycle in and out of vulnerable narcs, and all narcs do that. Now, Eric, I am helping the men. I told you that I'm here. I'm here on live, and you guys could have sessions with me and all that. I'm here to help the men. But the Lord really, He told me a few weeks ago. He said start a group to help women called Flourishing Hearts. It's a free group. At the end of this live, I'm going to talk about it. And y'all know, y'all men have a lot. Y'all have a lot of help. Women with this specific narc abuse, they don't. And I joined a group that's supposed to help people from narc abuse, and it was a nightmare. Everybody just throwing their wounds and hatred for the narc. And I was like, I can't believe I paid for this. This was like a nightmare. They like people who won't hold them accountable, vulnerable narcs. They like people who have a spirit of rejection, which will make you feel accepted. Why did it freeze like that? I just heard about narcissism in 2019. I've never heard of such people. Yeah, Eric, we love you. What's going on? I hope y'all can see me. It looked like I froze. Did I freeze? Can you wait? Let's see. Can you wait? Can you? I know, I see that. I don't know why. Why am I frozen? I am frozen. What is happening with that? That's so weird. Oh my gosh. Why is it doing that? Can you guys hear me? I can't. I see on my screen that I'm frozen, and I don't know why it's doing that. That's so weird. Y'all can hear me? I don't know why I'm frozen. Somebody said at least it doesn't look crazy. That is so weird. I don't know why I'm frozen like that. And I don't want to end the live. So I'm just going to keep talking, because you know the enemy be hating. Oh, y'all know I'm telling the truth. The enemy it's just that hate. I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm just going to continue to talk. So the next one is, how do you know, how do vulnerable narcs hook new supply? Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking if you guys can hear me. So vulnerable narcs. So what they do is after. Oh yeah, the enemy definitely be hating. Because I'm sitting here like, how did it just freeze like that? That's just really, really strange. I never had it freeze like that. But okay. So after forming friendships, vulnerable narcissists use acts of service to hook new supply. They do this by giving they they prepare meals regularly, and they craft handmade items such as blankets, paintings, sculptures. Some of them are exceptional artists. So they will make really, really nice things for you to keep you locked in. Um, and they're really, really good at, again, manipulation. So this is how they hook people in: manipulation, the victim story, food. Oh my goodness, that's how that other narc lured me. Actually, both vulnerable narcs that were friends, they lured me in by food, because some of them vulnerable narcs, they know how to cook and bake, and that food is so good. They just fatten you. They fatten you up. They fatten you up. They really do. Um, and so that's what they do. They also love to give you gifts too. They disrespect us and run around all over town. Yeah, those people, they just don't. The stuff that they do is really strange. Um, I'm gonna send Coach. I'm trying to send a message to StreamYard, letting them know that my live is frozen. My live stream is frozen. So I did that. Hopefully it hit me back. And so vulnerable narcs love to lure people in with gift giving. They're very good at gifts. Like I said, sometimes they're handmade. They'll handmade gifts and stuff like that too. Womb buddies. They love that. They could cook. Let's see what they said. Um, they said they said I'm live right now. I'm letting them know that my live stream is frozen now, and my live stream on YouTube is frozen. Yeah. Y'all know how the enemy, what they do? Vulnerable narcs are very sneaky too. Let's talk about why they're so sneaky. So vulnerable narcs are extremely passive aggressive. They don't like confrontation. So they will do sneaky things behind your back to undermine you. They will do things like move your things around to another location to mess with you mentally. They are masters at making people believe that they are crazy. And because they're so calm, you believe that you're crazy. Regular covert narcs will verbally abuse you and throw fits behind closed doors, but most vulnerable narcs will avoid confrontation at all costs because they hate to feel any guilt or shame. Additionally, many of them also have issues with their bodies, like health problems or body dysmorphia. So yeah, he said the devil on YouTube. I'm telling you, I don't want to like end the live and then like jump back on. But if y'all want me to end the live and jump back on talking about this same topic, I'll do that. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to do. And just hop back on with me and we'll complete this. Would y'all want to keep going, or you want me to stop the live and hop back on? What do y'all want? Let me know. Let me know what y'all want. Y'all still talking. What y'all want me to do? Can y'all still hear me? Oh yeah, he's wicked. But this information is still getting out there. So that's not gonna stop. Y'all said is somebody saying restart, somebody saying keep going, somebody else said do you, and somebody said okay. Keep going. All right, y'all, majority wins. Y'all telling me to keep going. Okay. So why are vulnerable narcs dangerous? I wish y'all could see this slide because it's actually really cute. I got the big bad wolf and the girl being drained. It's actually really good. So why are vulnerable narcs dangerous? Why are they dangerous? Because they drain you physically, mentally, emotionally. He's saying, can I send? How am I going to send y'all the YouTube link? Come on, StreamYard. Y'all better get it together. Anyway. Come on, StreamYard need to get it together. So, yeah, of course, all narcs are dangerous. Can you restart? We can see your presentation. Y'all telling me to stay on. I'm hearing get off. Okay, y'all can see my slides. Okay, good. Thanks, Bree. Thanks for telling me that. So I'm glad y'all can see that. Okay, good. Y'all can see it. This is good. All right. So I'm glad y'all can see at least the slides. I don't know why I'm frozen, but you know the enemy, like he gonna do what he do, and I'm gonna do what I do, which is keep going. So they drain you mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Vulnerable narcs waste your time. They do things to make you crazy. They undermine your life behind the scenes. I already told y'all that the guy who I thought was my friend was reaching out to my ex-husband and was telling him all these lies about me. So it was really, really crazy. They make you physically ill because vulnerable narcs have spirits of infirmity. They are possessive over you and your life. So let me tell you guys, let me read this real quick. The battery. So vulnerable narcs are professional victims and energy vampires. They drain your time, energy, empathy, and resources. And the enemy loves to link us up with vulnerable narcs because of their ability to be master deceivers. They are highly skilled at manipulation. The demonic spirits that influence them create stumbling blocks to our lives in many ways. Many of them carry spirits of infirmities, which are sickness and disease. So, I know. Can you send the view? No, I can't do that. Come on, StreamYard. You playing yourself right now. Like you really playing yourself. She says, so I'm gonna tell y'all this story about this girl. So I used to hang out with her. We actually was in the same life coach program. There's the wolf. I know. And I thought she was really sweet. She was really, really, I thought she was sweet. But I noticed that as the time went on, when I was in my coaching program, that a lot of people started to really move away from her. And I didn't understand that. I was just like, what's going on? I don't understand why, she's messed up like that. I was like, that doesn't, I don't really get why she's, what's happening with this girl. But I was just like, I'm going to stay friends with her. And then one of the nurses in the program, she pulled me to the side. She said, this girl something's wrong with her. And I was just like, nah, she's okay. She's a nice girl. She's sweet. And he was like, no, she's not. Something's really wrong with her. So me being me at the time, I'm sitting over here just trusting, like, oh, they're just hating on this girl. She's innocent. She's sweet. She never did nothing to me. So I started hanging out with her for a few months. I was coming to her house every weekend. She was making me really good food. I told y'all that food, man, that really good food. So she lured me in with the food and all that. And then next thing you know, I was starting to feel sick out of nowhere, but not like sick like a cold or anything. My body felt like my bones started to ache. It was really, really crazy. And I didn't know where it was coming from. Then she was obsessed about this woman named Harriet, who kind of took her under her wing as a pseudo daughter, but then the lady kind of, disposed of her because the family felt like she was too clingy, which all vulnerable narcs are very clingy. And so once we started hanging out tough, I was listening to these stories every day and it was wearing down my body. So at one point when we were on the phone, my whole like left side of my body just shut down. And I was just like, what the heck is going on? And I was freaking out. And I was like, listen, I got to go to the hospital. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. So I went to the hospital, and we were in there for like 5-6 hours. I got a CAT scan, all kinds of stuff. And the doctor was like, well, we're going to do tests. I'm on a bathroom floor in the hospital praying like, Lord Jesus, please help me. I don't know what's wrong. This girl even had me at an empty grave reading a letter about how this lady, her named Harriet. It was an empty grave, y'all. She drove me all the way there to an empty grave. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? This girl had me in the hospital. The doctor came to me and he said, you had a complex migraine, because I couldn't even taste anything. I couldn't taste anything. When I went to go drink something, it tastes like it was burnt, like that barbecue charred taste. It was like really, really bad. Why is this thing saying excellent connection? There is not no excellent connection. Oh, so what happened? The doctor said, I don't know what's going on with you. He said, but it sounds like from what it looks like, he said your CAT scan is normal. You didn't have a stroke. Nothing's wrong with you, but you did have a complex migraine. And he said your brain shut off that area of your body actually to save you from having a stroke or anything worse. And he said, whatever you were doing at that time of this incident, he said, you need to really stay away from that. And so I was sitting there, I was just like, I was trying to figure out what the hell happened. And she drove me back to her house. I think it was like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, because we were in the hospital the whole night. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's how it always goes. I went to her house and I was sitting on her couch, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I said, I can't believe that this happened to me. I never was in the hospital. I never had any kind of health problems. I don't understand this. And she looked at me and she said, welcome to my world. And I looked at her and I was like, what the heck you mean by welcome to your world? And she was like, yeah, because, I'm used to it. I'm always going to the hospital, with my food allergies. I'm used to it. Welcome to my world. And I looked at her and I was like, well, goodbye to your world. And the Lord, he really spoke to me. I wasn't walking with him as closely as I am now. But I had told him, I said, Lord, you got to get me out of this. He said, cut her off. And I said, okay. And I cut her off, and that friendship ended. And I'm telling you, when I say my health restored, like nothing ever happened, health restored. So they are energy vampires. They suck the life out of you. She told me too that she had a therapist, and her therapist was in perfect health. And so she had this therapist for about 3-4 years. This therapist's body started to break down so badly to the point where she had to close her business, her practice. She had to close it. Yeah, Eric, they will make you sick. Absolutely. So, yeah, just so y'all know, I know what I'm talking about. I experienced it. These people, I thought I was having a stroke. I didn't know what was happening to me. And it was all because this girl was draining me. Another thing that I noticed too is that she stopped getting sick. I started getting sick and she stopped. So she was saying, oh, I'm always in the hospital. And I'm like, well, dang, I was friends with this girl for almost a year. She wasn't in the hospital once. I'm in the hospital right now. So I'm sitting there having all these tests done, and she's sitting there with this smirk on her face. Oh, yeah, definitely. They definitely demonic creatures. For sure. So how to destroy the agenda of vulnerable narcs. We almost done. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They drain you. That's the point, though, because they feel so pitiful and miserable on the inside that they have to pull things from people. That's what they do. So accountability is the Achilles heel for vulnerable narcs, just like any other narcs. And see, what they do is the moment that you try to hold them accountable, they will look at you as the bad person. Narcissists think black and white, good and evil, and they never see themselves as evil. It's other people. So for them, if you do what they want you to do, you're good. And if you don't do what they want you to do, then you're bad. And so that's how it is with vulnerable narcs, and that's how it is with all narcs. So once they drain you out of your resources and your energy, and you start getting sick, then they go to another host. Another thing too is that if you hold them accountable and you try to bring up stuff that they've done to you, what they'll do is they'll try to guilt trip you. If that guilt trip doesn't work, then they'll discard you. And they'll try to throw up the fact, oh, you're just like everybody else. You said that you wasn't going to leave me. You said this. Listen, I don't care about that no more. Because I was in the emergency room the other week. And I had to tell her that. I said, listen, I don't care about none of that. My life is in jeopardy. You sitting over here, sitting pretty, skin all glowing. You haven't been to the emergency room in almost a year. I'm sitting here hooked up to machines doing brain scan. We not doing this, sis. We not doing this. We're not doing this. So how to guard yourself against them. So we pretty much almost done. So the enemy tried it at the end. We really done. This is the last slide. So how to guard yourself against them. So all narcissists are dangerous, and although vulnerable narcs appear harmless and weak, they are not. It's a role they play to obtain supply like any other narcissist. The Bible is very clear about how to protect ourselves from evil people. Proverbs 4:23 is keep your guard on your heart with all vigilance. Above all that you guard your heart, for out of life it flows the spring of life. And 1 John 4:1-3 is beloved, do not believe every spirit. And somebody said that too in the comment about testing the spirits. And it's very, very important to test the spirits to find out if this person is from God or not. We have to do that. And it has to be a practice that we do. And 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Vulnerable narcs will use empathy as a weapon against us. So we have to be very vigilant about things. So thank you guys for joining this live today. If you guys want coaching or deliverance, please go to www.Lajuanaradcliffe.com. I know it froze on me today, but that's okay because the Lord still had things popping. I told y'all too that I have the women's group, but this is the master class that is going to start March 7th every Thursday. If you guys want to know more about that, you can actually go to the website, or you can send me a message and tell me that you want to know about this master class, because it's really, really informative and it's changing lives. Everybody that attends this class, they really, really heal. It's 4 weeks. The first week we're talking about how did we get here, and this is for men and women, not just women. And week 2 we talk about what motivates narcissists. Week 3 is the voyage of self-discovery. We go into deep with your childhood trauma and all that. And week 4 is God closure. God is the only one who can give us closure from narc abuse. Flourishing Hearts is the group for women, and it is next Monday, February 12th. 7 p.m. So it's right before this live. Yes, join the group. If you go to my website and you're going to click on the link and you're going to see Flourishing Hearts. Yep, Flourishing Hearts is on Zoom, and the masterclass is on Zoom as well. And it's not too late for the masterclass in March. It's not too late. You guys, because actually you still get the early bird special, and the Zoom group is for free. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I want to just pop back. We got through it. I know we got through it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But I'm gonna just pop back on. Just to pop back on, because I don't like staying frozen. But I'm gonna pop back on, and I'm gonna pray too. I'm gonna pop back on. I'm gonna stay on, guys. Stay on. I'm gonna pop right back on.